Hi, my name's Johan Sonen, and I'm going to walk through a couple minutes about how we start to talk about design every week with a different little story at our all-hands meeting at the studio. So today is day 4 for Tala. She has an undergraduate degree in bioengineering from Carnegie Mellon. She got her grad degree in engineering and innovation. Apparently I need one of those too. And she also worked at CMU on health innovation. And now she joins us as in week 1. Welcome. I highly recommend everyone at the studio going and visiting the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in downtown Boston. It's around many of the places we visit often, from Boston Children's Hospital to Brigham to you name that pool of healthcare money surrounding the Fenway area. But the museum is beautiful. It has even really the first of its kind in the U.S., an indoor atrium and garden. And it is filled with amazing artists, a treasure trove of techniques that now even artists now are trying out for the first time and seeing, photos with illustration, with paint. It's really quite an amazing experience. And there's even this thing we need to check out for our own education. Maybe go there as a studio, as workshops that they perform for small groups. So we need to look at that. And this is their new building, which looks gorgeous. It reminds me of Ars Electronica in Austria. But this is much different, of course. When I was a kid, they were having concerts and organizing seminars in the old building, which was also beautiful. We have really a living artist who's prominent on the side of the museum, Oliver Jeffers, and it's nice to see his illustration work versus a lot of dead people inside. And one exhibit there was of Maurice Sendak's work. You may recognize his books like Where the Wild Things Are, but this was a new view into his work for me on the performance side, on the music and theater work. And I mean, he's an amazing storyboard and storyteller, as you can see here. And I thought this popped out for me is that, look, Sendak likes seeing his flat work go into the three-dimensional space of the performance, of music, of how the audience interacts with it, versus just the 2D pages. And you can see one of his, pieces here, or sets from, I think, the Three Oranges, I believe. Again, beautiful work, but also another dimension to his work other than just books. And I sort of tried to extract some of Sendak's design principles from a few different pieces and from the museum exhibit, is that one, truthfulness to life, even in fantasy work, even in nonfiction, really is the basis of his great work. We have to really fight our self-censorship when we try to sugarcoat things for children and for other adults, because really, to quote him, you can't protect your kids. They already know everything. You have to show emotional truth. You have to use your own experience to trigger art. And finally, it begins with writing. You have to write things down in order to get the idea germinated. Although that sort of belies his idea on the rely of the subconscious, because he had this technique where he'd listen to classical music, a lot of Mozart, apparently, and draw half-heartedly or half paying attention a lot, so that just to get sketches out, to get ideas out that weren't necessarily formed by anything before. So I think both of these can live together in good harmony, and that does wonders, I think, in the design world, to think about things in advance and to just design. You can do both. And if you need the references for this, you can go here. So what did I take from some of Sendak's work is, well, how can we snag the ideas of theater, of bidirectionality of that, of the interactive moments of theater and movies for user interface? And how are we making software even more dynamic, more human, more interesting to me, because these silicon bricks in our pocket often seem like, put in this form field, you get the next thing, and this is the workflow is important, but also it needs to move with me a little differently. And we haven't gotten there yet in software. And then, based on Sendex, what I sort of interpolated as his principles, what are our own product experience principles? And I think we need to do this again and keep doing it, is we update our code of ethics, usually every other year. We have our own design principles, which we need to, I think, reimagine every few years, because we have other people joining the studio. We have new takes on what it takes to do interface design or policy design or healthcare design. And it's time for us to adjust that. So maybe in the next couple weeks, let's do a new draft and present it here again.